Welcome folks, MACT, and this is MACT's Garage, and I am doing an oil series, and we're going to get started in this series starting with these two oils. But remember, what powers your drive? All documents can be found in MACTFORDEDGE on Facebook in the files section. So once you get done watching this here on YouTube, jump on over, join MACTFORDEDGE on Facebook, and you can download these documents and check them out as far as the oil test results for these virgin samples on these two oils. And what oils are they? We have the Mobil 1 against the Supertech from Walmart. We're going to pit these against each other and see which one comes out to be the better value. And what we see here is we have the Mobil 1 that is, of course, running at $7.68 for 1 quart of the Mobil 1, with the Supertech coming in at $4.88. So the lightweight against the heavyweight, which one's going to win? We're going to take and go through these oil test results from the lab on the virgin samples, and you can decide which one is the better one, but you might want to hold off on your decision until I get done with this series, because you just never know. There might be a star performer later on. So don't make those rash decisions until you've seen this entire series. Now, in starting with this series, we're going to, of course, jump into the oil test results, and we utilize the lab called Blackstone Labs to do all of our testing for continuity purposes. Going too fast and tongue-tied myself. Blackstone Labs is what we utilize for all the oil testing. Continuity of the test, it means the same lab does the same test, so therefore we're going to hope that whatever's going on, there's no errors or anything like that. But I've been using them for years, so I have full faith and confidence in what they're doing. But we're going to review the oil report as I have from the Mobil 1, and then of course read what they had to say about it. And it is a virgin sample 5W20 Mobil 1, and the oil report basically says all the viscosity is appropriate for a 5W20, has additives that are of course added to it along with any detergent dispersant. So it's a good serviceable oil according to Blackstone Labs. The next one would be the Supertech virgin sample 5W20 synthetic oil, and it had the exact same test results. It is within its viscosity range, and it has additive dispersants to it, lubrication, and it is a serviceable oil. So overall, both oils do test out as virgin samples ready to pop into your engine and get you down the road. Now we're going to start out first of all with the oil test results as Blackstone provides them. And the first item of interest are your wear metals, and that is aluminum. Aluminum came in for both samples in a 1 part per million for the Mobil 1 sample and 2 parts per million for the Supertech. A lot could be said that, you know, in the processing and everything else, there might have been some sort of aluminum they had to run through, piping, whatever it is. There's some leaching, but universal averages overall for aluminum are 0 for virgin samples. The next one would be the chromium, and chromium came in for 0 for both samples. So that's to be expected, nothing in there. Universal averages are 0 also. So standing in line with the oils, virgin samples, we were pretty much on the money with this. The iron, well, we don't want a lot of iron in our oil when we start out. So we do start out with 1 part per million in the Mobil 1, with Supertech coming in at 2 parts per million. Basically insignificant. And the average, though, universal average, is 1 part per million, so not far off from what is normal. Copper, there is 0 copper in the Mobil 1 and the Supertech, with a universal average of 0 also, so they both fall in line with a virgin sample compared to universal averages. Again, lead, no lead in our oil here either for Mobil 1 or Supertech, with a universal average of 0. All things being equal, head-to-head so far, aren't we? Tin. We have no tin in the Mobil 1 or the Supertech, with universal averages also correspondingly the same, 0. So there's no tin in these virgin samples, so you're starting out with good quality oil. Molybdenum. Yes, Molly B. We have 71 parts per million of Moly B in the Mobil 1, and we have 58 parts per million of the Moly B in the Supertech. Overall universal averages are 72. So we'll give that one for the Mobil 1 being the closest to the universal average, with the Supertech being slightly lower. Nickel. We have no nickel in the oil. Mobil 1 or the Supertech are both 0, along with universal averages of 0. Again, all things equal, pretty much a virgin sample. Manganese. Yes, a nice little word that we're going to remember, but we have 0 in the Mobil 1 and 0 in the Supertech, as reported by the lab, with the universal average for virgin samples being 0. So all things being equal, we're still in the money. Silver. We have 0 silver and 0 in the Mobil 1 and the Supertech. You know, if it had a lot more silver, maybe I'd get rich, but there's no silver. But universally, for the averages, 0 silver also in the virgin oil samples that they've ran. Now we got titanium. Okay, we have titanium going strong in the Supertech. Yes, there is absolutely no titanium in the Mobil 1, and the Supertech has 30 parts per million titanium in the oil, with the universal average being 3. So we're going to have to give this one to the Supertech, having that titanium in there to help keep it running good. Potassium. Both Mobil 1 and Supertech come in at a whopping 3 parts per million of the potassium, with a universal average of 1. So not much to say there, really insignificant for that part. Boron. Now the boron's a different story. Remember, I told you boron is, of course, a powder that is added to oil, but the Mobil 1 does have 90 parts per million boron in it. And then, of course, the Supertech is going to come in a rock star qualities at 190 parts per million boron. And the universal average is 89. So it's more than double the universal average of boron in the Supertech, which is a lubrication property here that we're going to be going for on this one. Silicon. We have silicon in both oils. The Mobil 1 comes in at 6 parts per million, with the Supertech at a close race behind at 7, slightly more, but the universal average is only 3. So that 3 or 4 parts per million for the universal averages is hardly anything to be concerned about. Sodium. We have sodium in the Mobil 1 at a whopping 3 parts per million, with the Supertech lagging behind with 2, but the universal averages for most virgin samples are 58 parts per million. So both these oils do come in behind as far as an average of silicon or sodium in the engine oil. And you know, sodium 3 and 2 for both Mobil 1 and 58 there. Calcium. Now we got some rock star numbers coming up here. The Mobil 1 comes in at 886 parts per million, and the Supertech comes in at 972 parts per million. Keeping in mind the universal average is 1,896 parts per million. So both of these oils are roughly about half of what the universal averages for calcium are in most engine oils. Magnesium. Mobil 1. Yep, they jump up onto the plate here, throw out 646 parts per million magnesium into their oil, but Supertech says, hold on, slick. It tosses in 722 parts per million magnesium into their oil, and this is way over the universal average for magnesium at 88 parts per million. So both of these oils dumped in a lot more magnesium to, of course, help things along. Phosphorus. We got to clean things, right? But anyway, both of them do have a fair amount of phosphorus in them, with the Mobil 1 running 628 parts per million for phosphorus. But we then jump over to the Supertech, and they went one better, went 663 parts per million, which is above the universal average of 657. So Supertech comes in with just a tad bit more additive on this phosphorus. The zinc. Now we got the zinc. Everybody throws zinc in their oil. Everybody. Mobil 1 comes in at 681 parts per million zinc, whereas Supertech dumps in 713 parts per million zinc into their oil. The universal average is 771 parts per million. So that overall puts them about the universal average, just a little bit below, but it is not bad because they have other additives that are above the universal averages. Your results may vary on this, but again, this is what both oil samples have pitted against each other, so no telling which one's going to work the best in your engine. There's a lot more oil test samples to come. But let's go ahead and check out the SUS viscosity at 210 degrees Fahrenheit. And let's see, the Mobil 1 come in at 52.5 compared to the 53.7 for the Supertech. Universal averages will be between 52 and 59. So they're running lower end of the viscosity test, which could be beneficial because as the oil is used, heated, it could thicken up as time goes. The CST viscosity test at 100 degrees Celsius, Mobil 1 comes in at 8.02, and the Supertech comes in at 3.38. Now, they again are very much on the lower end of that scale, and as time goes and the engine oil is used, that viscosity will of course increase generally through use as the engine runs the oil through it. Flash points. Well, the Mobil 1 has a lower flash point, so that would tell you at 420 that it's starting out at the lower end, and then the Walmart Supertech is coming at 435. Now what happens is as you use your engine and as you're dumping fuel in there for combustion, some fuel gets in there, so both of them would probably end up finalizing on an engine test run below 300 or below 400 parts or 400 degrees as far as a flash point. Getting tongue-tied here, but they would probably both end up below 400. The fuel just makes sure that they will of course burn easier because they have more fuel in there. There's of course no fuel in these virgin samples, so we're not going to worry about that. There is no antifreeze or coolant within there, and there was no water found within this test sample, along with any trace amounts of insolubles present in the oil test. I will tell you that a few of the oil tests do have trace amounts of insolubles, and I'll explain that as we go through this oil testing series. But folks, that is it for the oil testing series on the Mobil 1, regular Mobil 1 synthetic oil against the Walmart Supertech. Okay, your decision, but don't make it right now because other oil tests are coming and you may miss out on the best oil to run in your vehicle, and make sure that you have longevity of oil and economy to go with it. This is MACTFORDEDGE. Remember, like and subscribe to this YouTube channel. And if you do want to get a hold of me, there are no comments on YouTube, so jump over to MACTFORDEDGE Facebook and join the Facebook group where you can get not only this, but documents and questions answered. And as with all things, my day has started out well. My feet hit the floor today, and I'm having a great day. And I want you to have a great day too. And with that being said, the Band of One has some fantastic music for you at the end of this, along with Mercy Grill giving you a couple one-liners to carry out through your day, and then any bonus footage I may choose to put at the end of this.
Thank you for watching MACT's videos, and remember to like and subscribe. This is a Mercy Grill production.